You built up a pretty good career in Europe.
Well,
But
I made a record, and I was doing shows around Sweden,
but you
Denmark.
came back. Why did you come back? Was that because of Steve Miller and his band?
Well, I was invited to play, and I was hearing about the scene in San Francisco. I had been in India, and I was seeing the cover of Time magazine while I was in Bombay of the things that were going on in San Francisco, the musical scene. And I had another buddy who's in Stockholm, who was the brother of Jorma Kaukonen from the Jefferson Airplane. And so I was keeping up with the scene from Stockholm. I was getting records and getting the lowdown on what was happening in San Francisco. And I had a curiosity about it, and I kind of had an idea of what the scene. A number of people I had known in Chicago before had migrated out there. Steve had a band there, so I had a sense. And someone fell out of Steve's band. The guitar player, singer, left the band, and so there was an opening. And Steve sent me a note to American Express in Stockholm, which I picked up, and he offered to. He said, "Would you like to come back and join this band?" I said, "I don't know, and I'd like to maybe." So he agreed to send me a round trip ticket, and I just said I'd come and check it out. So I did, and I liked the band a lot. It was I'd missed playing a certain style of music, and I liked coming to San Francisco. But it was a temporary thing. I filled in for 8 or 9 months, and
And then you left, though. You left the band to pursue your own solo career. And you worked steadily. You had plenty of places to play.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't until 1976, Silk Degrees, that you became, for the first time, a really massive success.
Mm-hmm.
Fair to say?
that's fair to say.
Did that catch you off guard, or did you feel, well, it's been a long time coming, it's overdue?
It was just one in a series of records to me. I had been on Columbia Records. I'd been on Atlantic Records. I had made 4 or 5 records with Columbia Records, which was the biggest record company in the world at that time. And I was selling decent numbers of records. They don't keep you around unless you're earning your keep in those contracts.
Right.
So I was traveling a lot and making those records, and like most people, I believed mightily in what I was doing, and every record I made I believed was something that the world just had to hear if it was going to make another revolution. But that big breakthrough hadn't happened. But my career was growing, and it was steady, and then you know, it's when that big one comes along, I had learned my craft a little more. I had found people to associate with, producers, and ways to get through it, and then my number came up.
Your number came up, and then fairly quickly after that, you were opening for what? The Eagles, Elton John, Beach Boys.
Mm-hmm.
You're now really in the big time.
Yeah, we're in arenas, and I've got 4 hits under my belt, and 150 weeks or so on the charts, and yeah.
And what that led to, and I'm looking away because I'm trying to imagine the time, you had a string of platinum albums, big single hits in the, late 70s. But
75 through 80, yeah.
But then in 1980, you walked out of the spotlight. You basically walked away and took an 8-year hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
In 1980, I did a world tour. I had released an album, and I had a greatest hits album, and the demands on my time were nonstop. And I knew I had to take some time off. I worked 7 days a week for 10 years, it seems, and I you know, there were breaks here and there. But now I'm married. I have 2 small children, and I needed to take a break. And the break was, I think I was thinking I need 6 weeks or 6 months off. And I've likened it to when you jump off that high rolling, powerful career that's rolling down the road, and you get away from it, you become a little more objective about it. You go through some change. You worked hard to do what you do, but then again, there are other things calling. I had a personal life that was calling with my children. I had a marriage that was failing. I had personal things to attend to. And I went into that civilian life, that alternative life that I had not been giving full attention to.
You've described this period as like jumping off a moving train.
Well, that's it. I was going to try to get away from the cliche because I've used it before, but it was like jumping off a fast-moving train.